Anna Maria, it's great to welcome you back.
Thank you. It's great to be
So
back.
congratulations on the wonderful performance at yesterday's dress rehearsal. How did you feel like it went? Your first time on the stage?
I know. Well, I have to say that because everything has been presented, every stage direction, every motivation, every musical idea has been presented with such clarity. We have not had a lot of rehearsal time, but everything makes perfect sense to me. And to have had the luxury of an on-stage rehearsal also with the orchestra, it helps to solidify everything that we've been working on these past few days. And I've got the most amazing colleagues to work with that are also very supportive while we're in the scene. I feel that they're all watching out for me, making sure that I know what I have to do. I can sense the awareness and the support.
Nice. So I want to hear this story. You were singing Rusalka in Houston, and the phone rang.
The phone rang, and it was my manager saying that there was an urgent call, and we needed to speak as soon as possible. And the Met had expressed that they were in need of Madama Butterfly. Would I consider coming in? I was floored, and I am sorry that Hee Kyung, our beautiful colleague and one of the loveliest ladies in the business, truly.
Very true.
I wish her all the best, and I hope that she gets better very soon. Since she's not able to do these, they asked for me to do them, and I was very honored. I still am. I'm still floating on cloud nine, and thrilled to be able to come and be part of this gorgeous production. It's truly stunning.
Boy, you must know this role so well that it just makes it easy to jump in. Maybe easy is the wrong word. It makes you feel comfortable to jump in this situation.
I know the role very well. I love the role deeply. And I think that part of what comes in knowing a role musically and psychologically, you also know what's going on in the orchestra, because that is so much, as we've talked about before when you and I have spoken, that the thoughts and the subtext are all expressed in the music. The music expressing what no word in any language can express. So I need to know exactly what's happening in that score, because those are my character's thoughts and feelings. So knowing all of that, I feel as clearly as I understand it today, helps me, yes, to have that extra level of comfort stepping in.
There are lots of wonderful magical visual accents in this famous production by Anthony Minghella. The lanterns, the silk flowers, and of course the incredible puppet that's Cho-Cho-san's little son. What are some of your favorite things you've discovered in the past few days?
I love working with the puppeteers. They are so they make this child truly come to life. They are very intuitive with each other, which is tremendous, because you have three puppeteers, Tom, Kevin, and Mark, who are just lovely, and they also breathe a certain way depending on the emotion and reaction of the child to what's happening on stage, and also reacting to me and how I'm expressing to the child. They make certain sounds that are very, very subtle. I can hear them. The audience can't hear them, but I can hear them, and it makes a big difference for me, because it really makes the child come to life. So that's really impressed me and impacted me.
You really nail the contradictions in poor Cho-Cho-san, her naivete and her intelligence, her innocence and her sensuality, her strength and fragility, all kind of rolled in there together. I'm sensing when I'm watching you that it's very important to you that she's not like a one-dimensional victim.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, she's not. She's, when we meet her, she's 15. And as we know from the girls that entered a geisha house, when they enter, it's usually their families that are hoping, because the family can't necessarily provide for them, they're hoping for a better life for their child. There's no guarantee that that child will become a geisha. She has to start in the lowest level of the ranking system in the geisha house, and then once she begins to blossom, and once she goes through puberty, perhaps there's some potential there. Perhaps she will be beautiful enough. Perhaps she will be elegant and talented enough. And then she's signaled out to train to be a geisha. So you can understand from all of that backstory that all of these girls have quite a rich and perhaps traumatic history. All of that enables them to mature, let's say, to be older than their years. So we meet her at 15. She's already had a full life experience, yet she's still a child. And we need to see that innocence. We need to see her wit, her charm, her beauty, her sensitivity, her intelligence, but that hope and that naivete and the dream. This is her ideal. When she's looking at Pinkerton, this is what every geisha dreams of, and she can't believe her fortune, and it's even better than she ever imagined. So she's imbuing him and this whole future with so much more than he actually has and is.
And intends, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's not a bad guy. I know that I'm segueing into something else
okay.
here, but I think that he means it in the moment. I think that he comes from obviously a very different culture, very different upbringing. I would say exquisite sensitivity is not his fach. It's not his repertoire.
Right.
But I feel that he's enjoying this for the moment and going along with it. Then when the bonds humiliates her and banishes her in front of everybody, and everybody rejects her, and it is so violent without the physicality of violence, but it is such a severing of her from her society and her world and her culture and her loved ones and everything. I think that he's so moved, and how he, Pinkerton, approaches her and gently tries to calm her down and tries to make her feel better. That's beautiful. I think he begins to feel love for her there, at least a caretaking role. And then he wants her, but he doesn't push it. He doesn't push himself onto her. He waits until she's ready. So that duet is exquisite, extraordinary. Finally, he allows her the space and the time to just suggest she's ready for their wedding night. Mm-hmm. And he allows her to take that moment, and then they go off into the moonlight or together. I think there he fell in love with her, and I truly believe that it is so. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense, and we can't believe that she is as intelligent as she is if we don't give him that purity of emotion for that moment in Act 1.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Your voice has been praised for its rich, luxurious quality. Have you always had that? Has this been always the sound of your voice, or is this something that's developed over time?
Oh, I think that one's timbre is, well, definitely it's unique, but it's pretty much there from an early age in a singer's development. I think that how you continue to develop your awareness of your instrument and to grow into it rather than force it to go into one direction or another, how you really get into it, that with time will enable the richness to continue to grow. And I emphasize that with young singers. Let your voice tell you where it wants to go, where it is feeling its path. Don't label it too soon, because then you risk imposing yourself onto the instrument, and it will not have the longevity that it could. I think if you allow the voice to tell you where it wants to go, then you can support it on its way. You and the voice are one, but it also is its own entity in a way. You need to respect and honor that. Sometimes I use the example, I don't know if I talked to you about this before, but the beautiful Brazilian soccer, or how they refer to it in Europe and everywhere else, in Latin America, football player Pelé. If you see footage of Pelé, how he's warming up with the soccer ball before a match, that ball is alive, and it becomes his mistress, and she will do whatever he wants it to do. And I think in many ways a singer needs to see the voice in that way and let it come alive, but you are the life underneath that voice. Then it comes to life. Then that voice falls in love with you, the master. You continue to fall in love with that voice, and then together you continue to grow throughout the life of a career.
You give the most poetic master classes. I can just see it from this conversation, that the kids are going, wow, I never thought of it that way. Let's talk about just the vocal demands of this role for a little bit.
Well, I think that it's a marathon. If we're going to continue using the analogies of sports, right? And we are athletes. A singer is definitely an athlete. And I think that it's a marathon. And by that I mean it's not just physically demanding as a marathon is, but it's just as long, and you need to pace yourself. And your stamina, your physical stamina, not just your vocal, emotional, psychological, and physical stamina have to be quite strong. And one thing that helps me is being a runner. Although I've learned the day of a butterfly, I probably won't run.
Do you run almost every day?
I try to, but for example, in these rehearsals and the intensity of the days, I've chosen not to. I find that it's the emotional places you have to access within yourself that become both an inspiration but also a drain. It's very powerful to go through it. I find that when the child enters the story, the child, of course, is in the beginning of Act 2, but we don't meet the child until she brings the child out to introduce him to Sharpless. That's where I feel I get my second wind. And I did my first butterfly when I was already a mom. Mm-hmm. And I do feel that my son has... That's been a rebirth for me when I had my son, and also he was born on my birthday. So, I mean, several things. That is literally my rebirth in so many ways. And it's also such a confirmation that he's the greatest gift I would ever receive in my life.
How old is he now?
He will be 9 on March 11th.
He'll be 9 on March 11th.
Yes.
Happy early birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So I feel that once the child enters the story and he's there, I definitely find much more energy. Because it's not just about doing what I have to do as a singer, as an actor, but I'm also so aware to make sure that the child is okay. And we're telling our own story. We're living our own life within this story. And that just gives me tremendous sustenance.
Anna Maria, congratulations.
Thank
Toi, 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 and welcome back.
Thank you, thank you.